Welcome to Attachment Trauma Reenactment. This video series is intended to help you understand parental alienation like you never have before. Attachment Trauma Reenactment is a complex, multi-dimensional interrelationship of theories that illustrates the pathology from differing aspects. But in these lessons, the elements are presented in a chronological order, just like the families experience it. Not only will you understand what you are experiencing, but learning why this is happening. Making sense of your children's behavior is both empowering and healing. Please note, I am neither a mental health expert nor a legal professional, and therefore nothing contained in these series should be taken as professional advice. Much of the information presented was derived from an attachment-based model of parental alienation's foundations, 2015, researched and written by Craig Childress. From now on, I will just refer to the book as Foundations. In addition, I've explored much of the information by the references he cites. We're going to quickly run through the chronology of attachment trauma reenactment. Each video will then discuss the stages in more detail. It begins when the alienator, as an infant, experiences childhood attachment trauma. Attachment is the emotional relationship between a parent and a child that serves as the basis for all later relationships. When trauma, such as psychological abuse, that is, emotional abuse or neglect, disrupts the development of normal attachment, the child's representative networks in his or her brain become disorganized and insecure. The child develops a mental model or a framework of the family where one parent is abusive, one parent is protective, and the child is a victim. The child's disorganized attachment and dysfunctional internal working model coalesces into a borderline personality disorder around the time of adolescence. Their authentic self is buried deep, taken over by the painful void of a borderline personality disorder, where they feel unworthy and unwanted. Some people find a way to cope with the borderline disorder by developing a narcissistic veneer, which protects the fragile inner core of this person. In either case, people with a narcissistic and/or borderline personality disorders have very difficult time with their relationships with others. In fact, just living with them causes a toxic or invalidating environment for two reasons. One is that they have no empathy. They have no real-world way to relate to others. They're so busy keeping their delusional worlds afloat to protect that fragile inner core that they have little time to spend in authentic relationships with others. Second, they need someone to help them regulate their own emotions, something that their parents never taught them to do, and they expect that those closest to them will do that. Personality disordered partners or parents are very controlling, either by way of manipulation or domination. So not surprisingly, these relationships disintegrate under stress and cause the alienator to melt down and reactivate their dysfunctional mental model with a few modifications that create a more intense delusional world. These delusions start to be expressed by the child when the alienator or abusive parent triangulates the child or aligns the child in a cross-generational coalition, also called a perverse triangle, where they cut off the other parent. The child is then expected to take on a role reversal, where he or she takes care of the parent. Since attachment mediates both love and loss, the consequences are horrific. The targeted parent and the child both experience complex grief and post-traumatic stress disorder, but they are expressed in very different ways. We will talk more about how your child expresses grief and all these other concepts in the next few video modules.